Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be. She has the patience of a saint, but if you push her, oh Lordy. A straight talker is Miley. She's the salt of the earth. Make no mistake, she matters. Catch Miley's story on a live stream. Oh boy, that girl can matter. Go Smiley. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Missing posters and stories of heartache and fear. She tells us all of the heartbreaking tears. She can sniff out the guilty from a mile away. If Smiley's on the case, then she's here to stay. She cares about these missing children. She cares deeply about them all. She speaks the truth with integrity. For the truth, she will seek it all. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Smiley's questions are like a heat-seeking missile. She's going straight for the bullseye. Don't ever believe you can fool her. She's too wise, man, she won't comply. She values freedom like the 4th of July. She values respect even more. If you want to earn a place at Smiley's table, watch the clock, it takes time for sure. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you break her trust, you're done for. Trust don't grow back like grass. So don't give Smiley a reason to doubt you, or that friendship will shatter like glass. She's a damn good woman, that much we know. She puts in the hours to bring them kids home. If your child is missing, you are Smiley on the case. She is always willing and she gives so much grace. She's a Smiley, alright. She's a Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you're guilty, you better feel fear.
She was born and bred in Nashville, but she walks the beaches down in Florida sand. A mother and wife, a daughter, a sister, trying hard to do the best she can. She found her voice with a heavy heart, looking for purpose with trembling hands. And giving this all a new start, moving ahead, speaking for ones who came. She says, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. Her mama fought cancer while she was searching. Stories that needed a gentle voice. We saw a summer's name and felt the heart ache and tried to bring light where there was no choice. And when she heard us the best in her sadness rose, she prays for truth through the noise. She'll follow wherever the story goes, seeking their dignity, a child's joy. She says I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. She said I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard. She's got a caring heart that won't be turned.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello, 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 and happy Sunday. Ooh, Daniel, you're the first one in here today. I was fixing to say happy birthday. It ain't your birthday, is it? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Y'all go sub up to Daniel. Happy Sunday. I don't know where I got happy birthday. Lord, have mercy. Wake up, Smiley. Wake up, little Susie. Wake up. Hello, Dawn. Second one in here today. Hello, hello. Hello, Raymond. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Hello, beautiful Millie. Thank you for being here, Millie. Hello, good to see everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all so very much. More than you know. Hey, Jude. Hello, beautiful. I hope you're doing good, my friend. Hello, hello. And beautiful Dawn Emery. We got Dawn up in the house. We got Dawn up in here. Hello, hello. Yes, thank you, Jude. Hit that like button. Do all the free things. Like, share, subscribe. Do all those free things. Hello, I hope everybody is doing well. Is everybody having a blessed Sunday so far? I sure hope so. I hope everybody is doing great. Great. Like Tony the Tiger says, doing great. Great. I just don't have no cereal to go with that. I feel like eating cereal. I ain't feel like eating much of nothing heavy, but I feel like having some cereal. Oh my goodness. Lord. Hello, everybody. Come in. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. We are in the 15th day of Nancy Guthrie missing today. Sad case. A lot of ups and downs. Frosted Flakes. What'd I say? Lord, there's no telling what I said, honey. Frosted Flakes. Tony the Tiger. I'm a Lucky Charms girl myself. Actually, I like Lucky Charms. I could eat Lucky Charm after Lucky Charm after Lucky Charm. Was watching race car for the first time in 25 years. I heard they had a bad wreck on there today. I heard they had a real bad wreck, Raymond. Whatever become of that. I hope they survived. I hope they got out of there okay. They have some times in them cars, let me tell you. I used to watch it. Wouldn't miss it. Now I just don't have time for it. Hey, Donna, I'm glad you're feeling better. You was sick Wednesday night. Lord, there's a lot of that stuff going around. Sun shining today here. Sun shining. It's so bright. It's coming through my blinds. I turned the blinds the other way and it's still coming through. Guess I need me some darkened Curtains. Yeah, this is a Daytona 500 weekend, baby. Daytona 500 weekend. Yeah, I was glad I didn't have to drive back through that. I was at Stock Car. You was watching Stock Car. Somebody told me it was Daytona 500. I think it is Daytona 500, though, isn't it? Hell, I don't know. I don't know, baby. You was just watching Stock Car. I don't know. Somebody told me they had to travel through that mess. I don't know. But listen, Linda. I don't know. But anyway, Miss Nancy is still missing. We got big news coming out on the DNA. We sure do. This case has been up and down. Before we get started, please say a prayer for our mod, her mother, R2 Country Girl. I know a lot of you don't know her because she comes in here when I'm on real late at night, and I don't do a lot of real late at night things. Although I was up again at 1 o'clock this morning. Jesus. Anyway, but I don't do a lot of real late nights. I get too old for this. But before we get started, say a prayer for her mother. She is in the hospital, and she's so good to her mom. And please send your prayers her way if you can muster up any. Now, today is day 15 in the Nancy Guthrie case, as we know. 15 days since 84-year-old Nancy, a grandmother, was last seen. 15 days of questions, 15 days of waiting, 15 days of family waking up to a nightmare, a complete nightmare. I cannot imagine a nightmare that has not ended. Let me say this clearly. We are still watching. Even if I don't come on, I am still watching. We're still watching. We're still praying. And we're still asking, where is Nancy? 15 days, and it matters. Time matters. I tell y'all, time don't stop. If anybody knows that, time does not stop. Today, we're going to go over what we know, what has happened, what has not happened, what could be next. And we're going to do it respectfully, fact-based, and with compassion. But before we get into anything today, I want everyone to just stop for a minute. Just stop. Just stand or sit where you are. Close your eyes for a minute. I'm not asking you to pray, but what I want you to do is I want you to picture in your mind. She might be right there next to you. She may not. She may be in heaven. I don't know. I don't know where she's at. I want you to picture your mom, or I want you to picture your grandmother, 84 years old. And then I want you to imagine, just sit there and think for a second, not knowing where she is for 15 days. No phone call, no proof of life, no answers. Just silence. Just silence. 15 mornings waking up, hoping today is going to be the day. 15 nights going to bed, wondering if she's cold, if she's scared, if she's had her medicine, if she's even alive or not, or if she's all alone. She's not just a case number. She's not just Savannah's mother. She's 3 people's mother. She's a grandmother. She's a lot of things. And day 15 should not feel like this. And if you no longer have your mom and she's passed, wouldn't you give just one more hour with her? 5 minutes maybe? I know I would. So yeah, my heart goes out to this family for sure. No matter who did what, my heart goes out to them all. Now, she should be in church this morning, whether it be at a friend's house, whether it be at her house, whether it be virtual TV. I don't know. Don't really care. That's water under the bridge, but she should be there. Hey, Drew K. So we got some new news that came out a while ago. They said DNA evidence from a glove found about 2 miles from Nancy's Tucson, Arizona home has kind of been verified, I guess, to say that it was definitely male DNA. So they're profiling a male. I don't know what male, but a male. They received the prelim reports, and they're waiting now any minute. Any minute. It could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be an hour from now. They're awaiting official confirmation before entering it into the National DNA CODIS database. This glove appears to match the type worn by the masked person, the masked, as we know now, the masked man, individual, whatever you want to call this person, criminal, whatever, individual that was captured on Nancy's surveillance footage the night she vanished. So let's watch the information that's come out, shall we? Give me just a second here and we'll watch it.
In breaking news from the FBI in the case of missing Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. The FBI confirming that a glove recovered not far from Nancy's home is testing positive for male DNA. Those gloves appearing to match the ones seen in the Nest camera video that's been circulating. And that recovered footage shows the armed suspect seen trying to cover the lens outside Nancy's home the night she disappeared. More DNA testing is still being done, and results could come in as early as today. This DNA could be the critical piece of evidence that law enforcement's been waiting for. It could identify a suspect. The search for Nancy is now entering its 3rd week today. Well, good afternoon to you. I'm Anna Koyman here in New York City. It's Sunday, the 15th of February, 1 o'clock on the East Coast. It's time for News Nation Live. We thank you for choosing us for your breaking news coverage. We're going to get right to Jessica Cartalia, live for us on the ground in Tucson. What's the latest at this hour, Jessica?
Okay, so I want to break this all down for you, Anna, because we're just getting this from an FBI spokesperson. A glove found approximately 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home on Campbell Avenue. That was the glove that was found in a field near her home, has gone through preliminary results in Florida. Remember, we had been covering the fact that the sheriff's deputy sent that glove off to Florida to that private lab. Now the FBI has that glove back. They will start to enter an unknown male profile, the DNA that was taken from that glove, into what's called CODIS, and that is the FBI's DNA matching system. The process typically takes about 24 hours. So potentially, depending on what time they did this, potentially later today or into tomorrow. Now, Of note, investigators collected 16 gloves total in various areas near the house. We've been showing you that video of them going around, looking in these arroyos, looking in the brush near all of these homes in the Catalina foothills. What happens is they take those gloves off, they stick them in their back pocket, and every time they walk by something, there's a chance that it could fall out, right? So it sounds a little odd to say, considering that they are like going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. However, when you're walking through this brush, you have old wood, you have old branches, you have cacti here with stickers. So that happens. What stands out about this glove, law enforcement do not wear black gloves when they are investigating, because if there's blood, you can't see it. If there's residue from gunpowder or a drug like cocaine, it doesn't work with the black gloves. This glove is the closest thing that they have seen to the glove that the person was wearing when they walk up to Nancy's Nest camera at the front door. Whether the two are connected, that's what we are waiting to find out at this point. So many questions at this point, Anna. We get information, we get a piece, and then we go, okay, well, what about this? And what about this? And where was this? So we're all trying to piece this together. And again, awaiting the results of that DNA test. And unfortunately, it had to go to Florida before then going to Quantico to be tested.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our news.
So I'm glad they got all of that, but I hope and I pray that literally they do. I hope and I pray that literally they do, and that they're not, I hope it's no big to do about nothing. Let's watch this other one real quick.
Is pretty significant. I'm going to read you the full thing. It says, the gloves found approximately 2 miles from the Guthrie residence in a field near the side of the road were packaged up by the Pima County Sheriff's Office and sent overnight on 2/12, and they arrived at their private lab in Florida on 2/13. The FBI received preliminary results yesterday on 2/14 and are awaiting quality control and official confirmation today before putting unknown male profile into CODIS, the national database unique to the Bureau. This process typically takes 24 hours from when the Bureau receives DNA. Now, this is the important part. Investigators collected approximately 16 gloves in various areas near the house. Most of them were searchers' gloves that they discarded in various areas when they searched the vicinity. The one with the DNA profile recovered is different and appears to match the gloves of the subject in the surveillance video. The FBI will continue to provide assistance on whatever timeline is provided to us. Let me read you that line again. The one with the DNA profile recovered is different and appears to match the gloves of the subject in the surveillance video. So, and it's kind of a confusing statement, but the way I read it is the glove that was recovered 2 miles from the Guthrie residence is different and appears to match the subject in the surveillance video. And they're now waiting on the full DNA profile, which could be significant because this is another big piece of the puzzle. If they can get a DNA profile off the glove and it matches the DNA profile in the house, and then they can be swabbing people who they suspect could be involved, this could all start to tie things together. Hey guys.
So there is that information. So we could be waiting to see, oh, what do you know? It stayed up today. So we could be waiting to see an arrest today. We might. I don't know. I don't know if we are not. What do y'all think? What are your thoughts on this new information? I mean, what are y'all's thoughts? There has been so much up and down that I just don't even know what to think, honestly. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you, Janice, you think? You think? Oh my God, I have put that everywhere today. Yeah, I just don't know at this point. I'm just very careful now because I don't even know at this point what to think or do. It has been a crazy case, Raymond. It's been so many ups and downs. And I was listening to some things that the sheriff was saying this morning, and I'm like, what in the world? You still believe it was an inside job? You know, I can't say I don't disagree with you. Oh, Texas, I I really can't say I don't disagree with you, to be honestly. I got a little bit behind it, but it's not too hard to catch up on this one. It's not. It's just so many roller coaster rides, the ups and the downs. It's really a wild situation here, to be honest with you. So the only thing I'm confused about, and y'all may help me out, I did get behind on this. I thought that they said that they raised the reward. Was that the FBI to $100,000? Who raised it to $100,000? Because I just saw about an hour or so ago, and it was on Twitter. It was $50,000, and that was supposedly breaking news that come out. So I'm not sure. Everybody was commenting on it. And it was like nobody even noticed that, but I noticed it. So is the $100,000? Is there an additional? Or don't tell me. Please don't tell me that they put that Bitcoin in there, because I know they were asking $50,000 from that. So I don't know. I did get lost on that part, but I noticed that it said 50. You did? Okay. So thank you, Raymond. Thank you for the gift. I didn't mean to just drop you down. Hold on. Thank you for that. Whoever got that, thank Raymond, please. But yeah, so I hope that they didn't just pay that. And then I did hear a couple of days ago, like I said, I was just getting back and so busy and so wore out. I was trying to catch up on some sleep. I did hear TMZ say that they had even raised that they had changed the terms on that. The sheriff is blocking some stuff from the FBI. Yeah, I did. I know about that. I do know about that, but I think it's a little bit late for that because I think FBI's got now the DNA thing, and that's who's doing. It's all good. It'll all come out in the wash. It's all good. It's all good there. He may have it first. Have just got his first, whatever, and then that was sent down and done in Florida, and then now FBI is sending it off. So that's what we're waiting on now, and that's all that matters right now. But anyway, so they got the DNA sent to CODIS, and that's what we're waiting on. And so I appreciate your thoughts. So here we are, 15 days later, right? This search enters its third week, and it is an ongoing investigation. Law enforcement activity remains high, and the multi-agency task force, along with the FBI, does continue its investigation now into this third week without locating Nancy, though. That's the problem. I can't imagine all of these people that are out there looking for her nationwide, though, and can't find Nancy. They can seem to find people that are not suspects. They can seem to find people to detain, to carry in, and let them go. I don't know if that's a strategy or not. And I won't pretend to tell them how to do their job. More power to them. But we'll just leave it at that. At least they're doing something, I guess. First, they do SWAT teams, though. The SWAT teams come out. First, the tape goes up, then it goes down, up, down, up, down. Then SWAT teams in, out, in, out. But that's not too horrible, I guess. The Ellie's still processing things according to what I heard the sheriff say. And that was recent. So I heard that with my own ears. I did hear that. He said they were still analyzing and processing evidence from recent operations. So that's his words, not mine. But, that's one person they keep going to is Nancy's house. I do find that odd. I've said that before. I think, in my opinion, hey, Gypsy, hello, hello. I find, in my opinion, that they already have what they need. I think I've said it before, they're just waiting on Nancy or the more tests, which now they say we should have this test today. I do too. Hey, Jude, Lord have mercy. Can you imagine when trial starts? So many things, I promise you, are probably going to get thrown out. They just are, in my opinion. It's going to be a wild ride. But a federal search warrant was executed on Friday night at the residence, roughly about 2 miles from Nancy's home, and multiple police were detained. They secured that operation, but no one has been arrested or charged in connection with the disappearance of Nancy. And of course, they could not find Nancy. And no, she was not in a basement. I mean, it's just wild what all's been going on. Evidence was collected, but no confirmed breakthrough, nothing earth-shattering anyway, or that would cause them to come out and say anyone was a prime suspect or anyone has been off the table. But they did not do that. They didn't do that with anybody. Because of this, they didn't come out and say, because of this, we're going to literally book them and they'll see the judge for an arraignment. Nope, they didn't do that, did they? We didn't see nobody being held for bond or with bond or without bond or any bond or anything. No, we didn't see none of that. They just questioned people and let them go. Again, was that a strategy? Hey, Dodie, good to see you. Hello, hello. So I don't really know. I don't know. We know the police say those drops of blood samples, I say they are drops of blood samples. As some of them are big as a penny, right? If you look at them, some of them are big as a penny. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Police said they were 100%. Those come from Nancy. That's for sure. So they know that. And now they're saying that the gloves that they found, they think come from the perpetrator. They say they found the glove or gloves, and they are at CODIS right now as we speak. Not sure what all they found inside the house. They're still not saying that. They're not saying that. Now, the other day they put up this white tent, and they were doing allegedly measurements. They were checking things out, but they did not wash the porch off. I kind of find that strange, but okay. Well, no, I don't, because they might need to go out and get. Never mind. Not fully sure 100% because I think they are holding things back. But again, I think they were doing measurements, how tall this person was, and all that kind of stuff. They did finally come out and say they think it was a male at that time, about 5'9" to 5'10". So I'm not quite sure. Now, they were carrying a black 25-liter Ozark Trail backpack. Now, remember, a lot of people saying, oh, one black woman. Well, let me tell you something. Everything don't always look the same as it does on camera, first of all. People don't look the same as they do on camera. But second of all, that was night vision. Third of all, it's been passed around to God and everybody and their brother, their puppies and their who knows what. But now I'm on board with the backpack. And remember, guys, just remember what we do see on camera the color can differ. So I don't know. But here's the thing. I know this morning, JLR, or it might have been last night, I don't know. I heard it this morning. Hey, Glenda, JLR did go to Walmart. So again, I don't know if it was this morning or last night. I might have been asleep. I don't know. But anyway, JLR did go to Walmart. I'm going to have to give that guy credit where credit is due. Y'all go sub up to him, although he's got all the subs in the world, but he needs more. Go sub up to him. Anyway. JLR did go to Walmart near, because I don't know where she bought, or not she, I don't know where this dude that was on the porch bought you know what I'm saying, at what Walmart it was bought at, literally. But JLR went to the Walmart near, not far from where Nancy lives. And allegedly the only place that sells backpacks is Walmart. That's a big thing. Okay. So we know that. We found that out. That's the only place that sells these backpacks. So JLR went there and he bought one for himself. And guess what? Guess what? Those backpacks are behind one of those glass doors with locks. They're locked. Isn't it odd how they lock some things up and don't lock others up? Yep, Glenn, I say the same thing. Pull those cameras. And they probably are. They probably are, but it's probably going to take a while because God only knows when they bought those. But it's behind a locked door, just like the game systems are, behind a locked door. They had to get a key, unlock it to sell it to you. Now, if you had to buy it in the back or not, that's a different story. I don't know. But I can tell you they had eyes on and cameras on whoever bought that backpack, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I know here a lot of druggies use the backpacks. They use to carry their stuff in. They also use the backpacks to thieve, to lift, to, what do you call that? To, hell, I forgot what it's called. Shoplift, basically. I used to have a spiffy word for that. I used to boost. Okay, I know about this stuff. To boost. And all they had to do was tear that little tag off. And some of them even know how to take those little things off. But anyway, I digress. Can go to the bathroom real quick. And Walmart's got one in the front and in the back of bathroom, And all they had to do is slip it on like it was theirs and walk out that door. But I can guarantee you nowadays, with all this other stuff being sold and made and all that, all they have to do at Walmart is go back and look at those cameras if they're not erased over. If it was recently bought. Okay? And then they'll figure out also who sold that to that person. They'll be ID'd, don't you worry, unless they sent somebody else in to get it. But I promise you, they'll figure it out. It might take a while, but they had to get a key and unlock the lock and sell the book bag, and they sell it at Walmart. Now, when and if they'll be able, not if, but when they'll be able to know who, that's going to help their case some too. I think so anyway, but it may take a while. Listen, people, there is no perfect crime. You cannot get away with no perfect crime if somebody is looking. If they're looking. And remember, everything nowadays is traceable. Everything. You think you got everything covered? Think you got it in cash? Think you paid somebody off? It may take longer, but you're wrong. You're wrong. There is no perfect crime. Everything's traceable, but it may take some time. Look, Miss Nancy would normally be in church today, like I said. Why is she gone? What was it? Why her? What was that taken? Why was that taken from her? I want to know, really, what was the motive? I'm sure people's asked themselves that a million times. I'm sure her family's asked herself that a million times. And I'm sure that Savannah has, was it me thinking it was her? No, listen, nobody's responsible for nobody else or what nobody else does, no matter if it's somebody in their family that does it or it's just a total stranger. Nobody's responsible for crimes others commit, not unless they were involved in it. So don't forget that. Don't blame yourself. Now again, last I checked, FBI raised the reward to $100,000. Why it's saying $50,000 now, I don't know. I don't know if the news is mixed up. I don't know if we're mixed up. I have no idea what the hell's going on as far as the reward. But there is a reward somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000. I don't know. It wants the location of Nancy or the conviction or arrest of anyone involved. They're begging for tips. Anyone with information, they want them to call them. Chris Nanos and FBI have said over and over again, this is an ongoing and active case. And they're right, it is. This is what we see when there's movement. Okay? This is what we see. It is sad when you got to pay people to do the right thing. It is. You know, I feel so bad all the time, if I don't pay somebody to do something, I mean, not bad stuff, but like good stuff, because, there's good people out there in the world, but I can't imagine having to pay somebody something to come forward with information. I will never, hear me. I will not pay for an interview. I will not. You can call it look up on my other two. You can call it whatever. And then I've had the others come to me that I did. Brittany's mom, that story. I've had a lot of people come to me, the guy in Georgia with the house, but I don't pay for no interviews. You either want your story told or you don't. Listen, my mods come in here every day. They don't get paid. And I don't expect nothing from them, but they support me. Excuse me, I had to drink coffee. But I cannot imagine, I'm with you having to pay for somebody for information, which is why I literally call it bullshit. I really think it is. And I think it's a scam because there's a lot of scam artists, unfortunately, in this world who will do anything, as we see on here, for $1, for a quarter. Hell, if they could get quarters on here, they'd probably be begging for quarters. They don't have a clue. let me get back on track because I don't want to even start. We ain't going to go there today. Listen, people, there's no perfect crime. And remember, everything is traceable, okay? Everything is traceable. I just want to know now what is the motive and why. Chris, Nanos, and FBI have said over and over again, this is an ongoing search, and I do believe that. I really do. Welcome in, David. Thank you for being here. Any tip, it's not too small, and it still may help, even though they got that DNA testing coming back, it still may help. But at the same time, in the same breath, they said there's no confirmed sign of Nancy. Nothing has been found yet. And they've been up with the helicopters with the Bluetooth on the bottom. A lot of people didn't know what that was. Well, everybody knows now. They were trying to connect it with her pacemaker, flying low, and all those things. You can't keep it from media long. You can't keep it from the sleuths long. You cannot keep it long. Nothing in any investigation is going to stay secret either. So everybody just might as well all get along because it goes hand in hand. That's how that works. But from the very beginning, they said Nancy met with foul play, and this was a criminal case. All of her family has spoke. All of her children has spoke. They have pled. Well, they have asked, let me rephrase that. They have all asked for their mother back. And they've asked to bring her home. And they've asked for people to tell what they know and to open the door for them to talk to them in a way to communicate. Yeah, the mod work is hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. But so far, nothing. Unless you want to call a bunch of heartless scammers out there to make a buck something. That ain't nothing to come on and tell the public about. Hell, we can see that. We can all see that. Look, there's so much we do not know that's going on behind the scenes. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. Look, I want to play this video with y'all. Hey, BJ, good to see you. Hello. Good to see you, honey. Hello, welcome in. Thank you for being here. I want to watch this video. This was an interesting video I found. I don't know if anybody has saw this or not. This is very interesting. So we're going to give credits and everything. This video belongs fully to its owner, and that's right. Thank you. And this is under the copyright section of 107 Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And there's a longer one out there, but I am going to add for awareness. And I am going to say no infringement is intended. So let's get on with it.
Welcome back to the channel. Take a good hard look at this image. On the left, a science teacher loved by his town. On the right, a masked kidnapper wearing a gun like a clown. At a glance, they are worlds apart. But the thing is, less than 2 miles from the crime scene, police just found an object that might blur that line completely. A black glove discarded on the roadside. It is a chilling match to the cheap gear the attacker wore. Meanwhile, the FBI hit Tommaso's door for the 6th time, leaving with a mysterious paper bag. Did they find the other glove inside his?
Oh, I want to say this. I literally, I do want to say this before we watch this. I am not accusing anyone of anything. I want to say now, I want to make sure there is no accusations by me or anyone else. We are also just watching this video. No accusations or fact beyond the official law enforcement's confirmations, which there has been none. So I encourage everybody to be respectful. You can have your own thoughts and opinions, but please put in your opinions, because everybody gets due process, and that's under the law in all the states last I looked. Okay. And that is a good thing. But let's let law enforcement continue their work. Okay. We're not here to accuse anybody. With that being said, you know, I know we all feel some type of way, but I don't even know. I haven't watched the entire thing. Let's just continue to watch this, though. Okay? Let's continue. I just wanted y'all to know I'm not blaming anybody.
Home. For 10 days we have debated familiar eyes. But today, no more feelings. I am weighing Tommaso Cioni against the masked man with 5 deadly coincidences the police cannot ignore. Trust me, these details are much colder than you think. So, let's get right into the first, and perhaps the most tangible coincidence in this whole nightmare, the $100 kidnap kit. When digital investigators and internet sleuths began to zoom into that high-definition video from the front porch, they realized something very strange. This person was not using high-end tactical equipment or specialized gear you would expect from a professional operative. What I found was that the intruder was using a basic ski mask that costs about $22 and a nylon holster that sells for the exact same price at local sporting goods stores in Tosin. Even the backpack, an Ozark brand with those distinct reflective straps, is something anyone could pick up on a quick trip to a big box retailer. But the thing is, the most revealing part of this outfit might be the hands. The intruder was wearing black gloves made of a synthetic rubber called nitrile. These are not tactical gloves. They are the kind often used by plumbers, gas station employees, or people working in food service,
We know now
because they do not break
Walmart is
down
the only one
when they
that sells
touch
those.
chemicals or
Okay,
oil.
Millie.
A pack of 100 of these gloves costs a mere $10. It is a cheap, disposable choice for a crime that felt anything but cheap. What happened next is where the story takes a turn that is honestly hard to believe. Just as the search for Nancy was reaching a fever pitch, investigators located a pair of black gloves abandoned on the side of the road. The reason this matters is the location. They were found less than 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home, right along a potential escape route. These gloves bore a striking resemblance to the ones seen in that chilling surveillance video. But here is the twist that has everyone talking. On that very same day, news cameras from Fox 4 captured something incredible. Federal agents were back at the home of Annie Guthrie and Tommaso Cioni. This was not their first visit. In fact, it was the 5th or 6th time law enforcement had swarmed that property. What struck me here was the sight of investigators leaving the house carrying a brown paper bag of presumed evidence. In the world of forensics, this is a massive red flag. At this point, you have to ask yourself, why a paper bag? In other words, in standard crime scene investigation procedures, paper bags are used specifically for biological evidence. If you put wet or biological items, like a glove damp with sweat, into a plastic bag, the moisture gets trapped and can grow mold, which literally eats the DNA evidence. Paper allows the evidence to breathe, preserving the genetic material for the lab, which tells us that whatever the FBI took from Tommaso Cioni's house, They believed it carried a biological signature that needed to be protected at all costs. Meanwhile, we have to look at the man himself. From everything I found in the investigative files, Tommaso Cioni is described.
Again, I am not. Hold on, let me look at something here. What is this? Okay, never mind. That was old news. I am not accusing anyone for those just coming in or anything like that. Nobody has been named a suspect. We're just going over this video. Yeah, it is interesting that they did carry out some paper bags. But I would like to know where he's at. Everybody's talking about Savannah's husband came. So, okay, well, where is Annie's husband? That's what I want to know. Why is he flying so low under the radar? Just curious. That's all. Just curious. Makes no sense to me, but okay.
Described as an ordinary, low-key dad and a science teacher. He is a guy who loves making homemade pasta and foraging for berries. For a science guy who spends his time teaching 6th graders about biology and working around the house, having a box of black nitrile gloves in the garage is not just normal. It is expected. It is a common tool for someone who likes to get their hands dirty with hobbies or home repairs. The problem is, when you put those two things together, the picture gets very dark. You have a pair of gloves found on the road just 2 miles away, and you have federal agents leaving the son-in-law's house with a bag meant to protect DNA evidence. At this point, I started questioning if the police had finally found the match they were looking for. If the DNA from the glove on the road matches the samples taken from that paper bag, it is not just a coincidence anymore.
Okay, I don't know if y'all saw it or not. It'll come back up again, but it looks like to me they had on a ring, okay, under those gloves. I would just kind of like to see something of his hand, which is not a normal for any man to wear a ring. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But I would like to know if he had on a ring or if he wears a ring on that hand. But that's, something else that I took note to. And I could be wrong, but that's what it kind of looked like to me. But I don't know. Yeah, I hope something breaks and they tell us soon. That's all I hope. And it's coming tonight or tomorrow. Them tests should be back.
It is a smoking gun, which means the pressure on the family is reaching a breaking point. The transition from being a grieving relative to a subject of a fifth search is a heavy one to carry.
I don't know.
And this is important because while the sheriff continues to say there are 0 suspects, the physical evidence seems to be whispering a very different name. From there, every single move the investigators make is being watched by millions, waiting to see if that paper bag contains the answer we have all been searching for. From there, we move away from the physical evidence left on the ground and step right into the hard, uncompromising science of biometrics. This is where the digital reconstruction of the suspect starts to get really uncomfortable for anyone close to the Guthrie family circle. You see, the FBI did not just release that 44-second video to show us a scary man on a porch. They released it because they knew the biology hidden behind that mask would eventually scream louder than a single fingerprint ever could. What I found was that forensic video analysts have been harvesting every possible clue from those grainy frames. By using the bricks on Nancy's front entrance as a fixed geometric guide, experts believe the suspect's height is somewhere between 5 feet 9 inches and 5 feet 11 inches. They estimate his weight at up to 230 pounds. In other words, We are looking for a male who is described as somewhat stocky, not a lean individual. The thing is, when you look at the way he moves, experts like Susan Constantine have pointed out that he seems significantly longer torsoed with shorter legs and a very broad hip region. These are the structural realities of the human skeleton that you simply cannot fake with baggy clothes or heavy jackets. And then, there is the specific detail that stopped the entire internet in its tracks: the eyebrows. If you zoom in on the high-resolution infrared images, you can clearly see the suspect's eyebrows peeking out from the
We got
eye
an
holes of the
eyebrow
ski
expert
mask,
around
and
here.
they are not bushy,
Go find
wild,
him.
or unkempt. They
He
are
should be able to
manicured.
nail this
They are
person,
groomed.
honey.
This implies a level of self-care and routine that you do not typically associate with a desperate, random criminal. This suggests someone who looks in the mirror, someone who takes the time to shape their appearance carefully. It suggests a person who fits neatly into society, perhaps someone you would see at a local grocery store or even a school classroom, looking perfectly put together and professional, which tells us that the manicured detail pushes the forensic.
To me, it looks like there is a possibility, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but it looks like there's a possibility he could be wearing contacts also. I don't know. And if this was pre-planned, he could be doing a lot of things, only not the right things, because there is no perfect crime. Also, I was wondering, you know how she has some cameras on her front porch? Y'all say, well, so-and-so and so-and-so would know she had cameras. Would they? Would they? Even if they went over every single day, would they? Because was it normal that she always used her front door? Or did everybody always go in the side door or the garage door? Was it normal? That's also an observation. Also, if they hired somebody, just an observation, in my opinion, allegedly just thinking outside the box, would they know or forget or think, oh, I can do this and do that? And just, sometimes how people tell you something, it goes in one ear and out the other, even when it's serious. Even when it's serious. And got caught by that thing and pulled them flowers. Did Nancy even tell anybody that camera was on the roof? I don't know. I don't know any of these things, but I'll be willing to bet law enforcement knows. I bet they do.
Forensic profile away from a random attacker and pulls it much closer to someone local, someone with a reputation to uphold. And this matters because it brings us straight back to the profile of Tommaso Cioni. From the investigative files, we know Tommaso is a 50-year-old science teacher who has spent 15 years in the classroom.
Allegedly, it's not a female.
But he is also a bass player and sometimes a vocalist for an indie rock band called Early Black. He has that specific artistic indie style. His profile as an educator and a musician fits the groomed description perfectly. In many of his family photos, you see a man who is clearly well groomed with that specific artistic vibe that matches the intruder in the video. At the same time, we have to talk about those eyes. The suspect has been described as having big, almond-shaped, dark eyes. On social media, people immediately started calling them familiar eyes. The reason this matters is that we, as humans, are biologically programmed to recognize faces, and even with a mask on, those eyes carried a weight of recognition that was visceral to those who knew him. The problem is, many people can have a similar build or a common eye color. But these specific biological markers, when layered together, narrow the suspect pool significantly. What happened next was a startling example of how powerful this recognition can be. Only 8 hours after the video went public, police in South Tucson pulled over a delivery driver named Carlos Palazuelos. They detained him for questioning and searched his family home simply because they thought his eyes matched the man in the video perfectly. Just because their eyes looked alike, an innocent person was arrested and their house searched. Do you think this was necessary shrewdness?
Now, in my opinion, I didn't think it was this guy right here, but also I don't personally think that it is a delivery driver or somebody like that, for the same reasons I just told you. Would somebody that delivers there all the time not know there were cameras up? I would think so, but that's just me. That's just what I'm thinking. But who knows, you know?
Or a dangerous, hasty action that could lead to the wrongful conviction? Does this detail really reflect that? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Which means that while Carlos was eventually released because he had an airtight alibi, the suspicion surrounding the familiar eyes hasn't just vanished. It just shifted focus. Because while Carlos could prove where he was, we still have not seen a confirmed public alibi for Tommaso Cioni during that critical 4-hour window between 9:50 p.m. and 1:47 a.m. What I found was that Tommaso's own physical profile matches the biometric data harvested from the cloud footage almost point for point. The height, the stocky build, the artistic grooming, and those deep, almond-shaped eyes. Because of that, the court of public opinion has been relentless. The transition
Why
from a
was he
science
bending
teacher
down
to a
under that
subject of
arch?
international scrutiny happened in the
Now,
blink of an eye.
could they have known
Meanwhile,
about the camera?
the
And
FBI
one of the
continues to
cameras
work on a more detailed
bent down
composite
to try
based on
to
the
get
mouth
their,
and the
they
potential
knew there
facial
was
hair.
one camera there
They
and
believe they
down
see a
to try to get
mustache,
their
which
height
again
down.
fits the recent
I don't
descriptions of
know.
Tommaso. At this point, you have to ask yourself, is it just a tragic series of coincidences, or is the cold math of biology starting to bury the son-in-law? The geometry of a face does not lie, and those manicured eyebrows are a choice. From there, every single pixel of that restored data is being compared to every photo of the son-in-law, looking for that one undeniable detail that can either clear his name or seal his fate. The reason this matters is that in such a high-profile case, the pressure to find a match is immense. This matters because as the investigation enters its second week, those familiar eyes will continue to haunt this investigation until we finally know the truth. At the same time, we need to step away from the physical masks and the cheap gear and move into a much more chilling territory, the realm of behavioral psychology. This is where the mask truly begins to slip, not revealing a face, but revealing a mind. When you watch that footage, the first thing that hits you is not fear. It is the intruder's total lack of it. He is not breaking in, he is sauntering. He moves with a level of calmness that borders on pure, unadulterated arrogance. There is no frantic checking of the perimeter, no nervous glances over his shoulder. Instead, he walks up to that camera with the leisure of a man checking his own mail on a Sunday morning. This is not the body language of a stranger in a strange land. What happened next is the moment that has kept experts like Megyn Kelly and former federal agents talking for days. The intruder walks up to the camera and he does not flinch. He does not try to hide his hands or duck his head in shame. Instead, he reaches out and gives the lens two light, rhythmic taps. Tap, tap. It is a gesture so casual, so mundane, that it feels like someone checking a microphone or tapping on a familiar piece of furniture as they walk by their own living room. In other words, this is the textbook definition of what we call ownership behavior. In the world of criminal profiling, ownership is a state of mind where the perpetrator feels they have a legitimate right to be in that specific space. He does not act like a thief in a stranger's home. He acts like an owner in his own backyard. The problem is, why would a total stranger feel that way? This man showed zero fear of a dog barking or a neighbor looking through a window. He knew the layout of the porch. He knew exactly where that camera was positioned before he even reached the top step. He walked through that space with the subconscious confidence of someone who has walked those same steps at least 100 times before. At this point, I started questioning the
For those coming in, thank you for being here. I don't know if it's him or not. I honestly don't know. I'm not trying to accuse him, just for anybody that's coming in. Hey Kelly, hello, good to see you. I found this video very interesting though, and I know a lot of people was curious. Let's just say that. So we are watching it and we're just kind of going through it. Nobody is accusing anyone of anything. And for those, I've seen somebody just ask, I apologize. Somebody just asked, there has been news to come out that the testing is back from the glove or gloves that they found. I think they found a total of 16. I may be mistaken, but they eliminated a lot because they were other people's. Anyway, they found a glove or gloves belonging. So that leads me to believe they did find DNA in the house, even though they're not coming out to say. But regardless, they have said that it belongs to a male for sure. Whoever was at this camera is a male, is what they're saying. And so now they've sent it off to the CODIS over in Virginia, and we should have that test back anytime today or tonight or tomorrow. So will there be arrest? Will there be a conference? Will there be a name of a true suspect? I don't know. I'm just like y'all, but I'm going to get it out here. We'll know soon. We'll know this soon. But again, when he keeps showing this tape over and over and over again, I want y'all to take notice under that glove. It looks like, yeah, DNA at the house, same thing. So I want you to take notice. To me, only to me. I don't know about y'all. If it looks like it to you, you can put it in there. If it don't, it don't. I mean, it's fine, whatever your opinion is. It looks like to me he has on some kind of bulky ring. Could it be a wedding ring? I don't know. Could be. I don't even know if it's a ring or not. I agree with you. Hey, Jude. It looks like that mask is puffed up a little bit. I don't know. But there is no perfect crime. I'm just telling y'all. All right, let's continue.
The timeline again. Remember, Tommaso Cioni was at that very house only 4 hours before the security system was severed. He had just finished dinner there. He had just played games with the family. The environment, the smells, and the layout were all still fresh in his mind. Which means, if we consider the ownership theory, the intruder's behavior starts to make a terrifying kind of sense. When you are in a place you know intimately, your subconscious takes over your movements. You do not sneak, you move according to your habits. That rhythmic tap on the camera lens is not a calculated criminal move. It is a habitual gesture. It is the kind of thing you do to an object you see every single day, like checking the stability of a railing or the glass on a window. The reason this matters is because it suggests that the person behind that mask was not just familiar with the house. They were comfortable in it. They were at home in the silence of 2 a.m. Meanwhile, we have to look at the arrogance of it all. This intruder was so convinced of his control over the situation that he took his time to cover the lens with vegetation as if he were performing a routine chore. He was not worried about the clock ticking. He was not worried about being caught in the act. He behaved as if he were performing a boring, repetitive task in a place where he knew he would never be disturbed. From there, we have to ask, who else fits that profile? Who else would have the mental blueprint of Nancy's home burned into their brain so deeply that they could navigate it in the dark without a single moment of hesitation? At this point, the contrast between a random kidnapper and someone with an insider's perspective becomes impossible to ignore.
Thank you, Miley.
A stranger would be looking for an exit. This man was looking for a camera he already knew was there. A stranger would be tense, every muscle ready to snap. This man was sauntering with his hands relaxed. In other words, the psychological footprint left on that porch is just as distinct as a DNA sample.
See,
it tells a
some
story of a man
like
who did not feel like a
size.
criminal in that moment. He felt like he belonged, and that is perhaps the most chilling detail of all. Because if the intruder felt he had a right to be there at 2 a.m, then we are looking for someone who was a fundamental part of Nancy's life, not someone who was a total stranger. The transition from a family dinner at 10 at night to an abduction at 2 a.m.
I just think a
is a
total
short
stranger
one,
would have
but the
just got to
psychological
get out of
bridge
Dodge.
between them is built on this very sense of ownership. This matters because it tells us that the person in that video was not just a kidnapper. He was a ghost of a visitor who had been there many times before. The reason this matters is that the subconscious mind can...
You know what? I don't know about y'all, but okay, let's say it's out in the middle of nowhere, and let's say it's out in the desert and all that. And, I'm sure JLR and all them will tell us later. But, okay, let's say it's way out there. Nobody goes out there. Nobody. They're out in, freak Egypt. Okay? But, okay. So that you can think about that two ways. Somebody that's a total stranger takes it up on their self to go out there and commit this crime. And even with the best of the best of the best, if they're a stranger, they could go in and do the deed, and guess what? They're going to take a chance on a Saturday night, somebody coming back home that they don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they cased it out. Who knows? Or somebody coming over that they just invited, whatever. Seeing a strange car that come down through there, even if it's way out there, and going, what are you doing here? Or they're going to take a chance on their car getting stuck. Even if it's a rental car, things happen. Shit, I know things happen. Or something where it's not supposed to be, or where they're not supposed to be. Or allegedly, possibly, maybe, it could be somebody that knew the layout, knew the family, and it could be somebody that's, if somebody passes by here, they're just going to see our car. They're going to think we're checking on her. No big deal. Not a big deal at all. But again, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just telling a story. I ain't telling a lie. I'm not making shit up. I am telling the truth, because that could literally happen. I'm just saying, what if? You can look at it both ways. You really could. I'm going to tell you something. If it was me and it was random, even if I was a criminal, inexperienced or not, I wouldn't go way out in the boonies. Screw that. Nope. Ain't happening.
Cannot hide its habits, even behind a mask. However, we have arrived at the most controversial point of this entire investigation. This is the detail that divides the internet, splits the experts, and, arguably, might be the single reason why Tommaso Cioni is not sitting in a jail cell right at this very moment. It is the paradox of intelligence versus execution. Let us look at the facts of the suspect's behavior. When you strip away the fear and look at the mechanics of the crime, the kidnapper looks like a complete amateur. The most glaring example is the gun holster. As we discussed, he is wearing a band holster. This is a piece of equipment designed specifically to be worn against the skin, underneath a shirt to conceal a weapon for personal protection. But this man, he has strapped it over a thick, baggy jacket. It is loose. It is flopping around. It is objectively the wrong way to use that tool. A former Secret Service agent pointed out that no one with even a day of tactical training would ever wear a firearm like that. It screams incompetence. Then, look at the backpack. He is committing a felony in the dead of night, trying to remain unseen, yet he walks up to the door wearing a backpack with bright, reflective safety strips that glow when light hits them. It is the equivalent of wearing a neon sign that says, "Look at me." Now, compare that image to the man we are scrutinizing. Tommaso Cioni. He is not a drifter. He is not uneducated. He is a 50-year-old science teacher who has taught advanced placement biology. To teach at that level, you need a high degree of organization, critical thinking, and an understanding of cause and effect. You have to be smart. You have to be logical. Because of that, the defense from his supporters is loud and clear. Tommaso is too smart to be this stupid. They argue that a man of his intelligence would never wear a holster that could fall off or a backpack that shines in the dark. They say the clumsiness of the crime clears him. But I want you to think in reverse for a moment. I want you to step into the mind of a highly intelligent person who is planning a perfect crime. If you are a smart, logical science teacher, and you want to kidnap someone without getting caught, what is the number one thing you need to do? You need to make sure the police do not look for you. If Tommaso had walked up to that door moving like a SWAT team member, wearing high-end tactical gear, and disabling the camera with a laser or a signal jammer, the profile would immediately narrow down to someone with training, someone precise, someone like a science teacher who plans ahead. So, what do? You create a character. You perform a role. You deliberately buy the cheapest, most incorrect gear you can find at a big box store. You wear the holster wrong on purpose. You wear the reflective backpack to look like a transient or a confused amateur. You construct a visual profile of a disorganized offender, someone impulsive, uneducated, and sloppy. You want the FBI profilers to sit in a room and say, "We are looking for a banned substances addict or a local thug." So they stop looking at the respected educator with the master's degree. This concept is called staging, or more specifically, calculated incompetence. It is the ultimate camouflage. It is not just about hiding your face with a ski mask. It is about hiding your intelligence with a costume of stupidity. And if this was Tommaso's plan, we have to admit one terrifying truth: it is working. It is working because right now, we are debating it. It is working because the sheriff is hesitant to name a suspect. The amateur nature of the crime has created enough doubt to keep him free for 10 days. The clumsiness is not a mistake. It is the most sophisticated part of the entire plan. He is playing a character so well that half the world thinks he is innocent simply because the crime looks too messy for a smart man, which tells us that the one competence might actually be the most damning evidence of all. It suggests a level of manipulation that goes far beyond a simple kidnapping. It suggests a mind that understands how law enforcement thinks and is actively playing a game of chess against them. The belly band was not a mistake. It was a prop. The reflective strips were not an oversight. They were a costume. And the man behind the mask isn't stupid. He is banking on us being stupid enough to believe the act. So, I have to turn this question over to you, because this is the hinge the whole case swings on. What do you think? Was the kidnapper genuinely stupid for carrying the gun incorrectly? Or was he a genius
Y'all can
playing the
answer that if
fool
you
to
want
mislead
to.
people? Let me know your verdict in the comments below. Because if this is a performance, it is one of the most dangerous high-wire acts we have ever seen. And as we move to the final coincidence, we will see that even the smartest plans leave a trail that no amount of acting can cover up.
So thank y'all for watching that with me. I don't know if they've gone to Italy or not. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. You got to watch a lot of stuff that you see or hear on here. I'm not going to go as far as to say they're in Italy, but you are correct. He is from Italy. Um, I can assure you, though, the cops know where he's at. Um, I'm saying from day one. Now, Annie's been here. She's been here herself. That's a fact. She has been here. I don't know. I wouldn't be going anywhere either, Millie. They now could she have joined him? I doubt. I think they're probably hooked up in a hotel somewhere. That's just my best guess. You know, I don't know. I really wouldn't know. Um, that's hard to say. Anything in this case could happen. Anything could happen. But I don't. I don't know. I don't. In a way, I don't believe that. Does anybody know? Oh, I got the wrong thing up here. Does anybody know? Is and I'm just asking. I'm just going to throw it out there because I don't know, and I hadn't looked that deep into that. Because I don't know who it is, and I hadn't accused anybody. But is Italy where they can extradite you back if they need to? I don't know. Anything's possible, Lord. Anything is possible. But I do want to know. Yeah, I'd like to know where he's at. Everybody's worried about Savannah's husband. Okay, well, where's this guy? What I'm getting at is, why is he not here with his wife? I'm just saying. And he may be. He may just be camera shy. He may be camera shy. They may all be snuggled up. But I tell you what, if my husband wasn't there with me, adios amigos. Bye bye. Sorry. But anyway. But what we're going to do is, I won't keep y'all long. We've already been on here an hour and a half, but I just wanted to come on here to let you know I have not forgot you, because I haven't. I am keeping an eye on this. I'm just totally exhausted. Hopefully by today or tomorrow, surely with this DNA, surely with this test they've got to rush on, surely with it over in CODIS, they can rule out somebody or rule somebody in, or they'll come out and have some kind of conference or say what's what. This case is nuts. It really is. But I don't know. If you know anything, continue to let them know. Don't come bring it to social media. Let the law office know, 520-351-4900, because, they need to know, not us. We don't know what we're doing over here. Let them know, and let them do their job. But all right, everyone, I'm going to play us out. And as we close out tonight, I want to remind you, this is still an active, very active case of an 84-year-old mother, a grandmother, and a friend. And, until there's answers, we don't stop. We don't stop caring. We don't stop watching, and we don't stop praying, and we don't stop speaking about her or putting out awareness. So if you know anything, no matter how small, please contact law enforcement. That one tip could change anything or everything. We don't know. To Nancy's family, you're not alone. You're not alone. You don't have control over everything and everybody. You're not alone. And I know that's easier said than done. But so many people across this country are holding candles. They're watching. They want this done. And we're praying. We're praying for safety. We're praying for good things. We're praying. But that's their mother. That's theirs. And she needs to be found. And I know they're on pins and needles. They're wondering, just like us, is it somebody in this family? Is it the pool boy? Is it the gardener? They have got to be stressed to the max right now. And stress will kill you. Don't let it. To Smiley Squad, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here with respect and keeping it real. Always with compassion. That's what matters. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being respectful. Let's just keep hope alive. Right now, hope and faith, that's all we got. Let's just keep it strong. Let's keep believing she will come home. The answers will come. That's all we got, right? That's all we got. Let's play it out. I love y'all very much. And then y'all continue to have a great Sunday evening, okay?
She was born and bred in Nashville, but she walks the beaches down in Florida sand. A mother and wife, a daughter, a sister, trying hard to do the best she can. She found her voice with a heavy heart, looking for purpose with trembling hands. And giving this all a new start, moving ahead, speaking for ones who came. She says I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. Her mama fought cancer while she was searching, stories that needed a gentle voice. We saw summer's name and felt the heart ache and tried to bring light where there was no choice. And when she heard us the best in her sadness rose, she prays for truth through the noise. She'll follow wherever the story goes, seeking their dignity, a child's joy.
Y'all have a great night.